The Biden regime is just lawless. They care nothing about the Constitution. They care nothing about law, except to destroy as much of it as possible, to break it down. That's what all of this emphasis upon critical theory and intersectionality and everything else is all about, is the destruction of Western society, the destruction of consistency over time, so as to make room for the new, which, as you may be aware, will include such things as the destruction of private property, destruction of, I can really see in a relatively short period of time, the regime. And again, I think the regime is establishing itself into resolving things into a one-party system, so that it doesn't matter what people vote, what people actually vote. They know how to run the system now. I can easily see a time when private homes are taken by the regime, and in the name of equity, whatever in the world that means, there is no meaningful definition of it, not that's so rational, but in the name of equity, you will see homes that some of us spent 30 years paying for and repairing and maintaining, being taken from us, we being put into minimally survivable public housing, and those homes being given to those who are part of the movement. And how would you know who's part of the movement? Well, what you celebrate, what you will say is good, and how quickly you will submit to the regime. So right now, one key indicator of all this, vaccines. Vaccines. Will you be vaccinated? We already see it. If you will not be vaccinated, there are already people calling for you to basically be removed from the majority of societal interaction. Basically just locked away in your house because you are a plague carrier. But that's not really, I mean, that's the outward excuse. But the reality is, you will not submit, you will not go along, therefore, that becomes the symbol, that becomes the essence of it. Am I shocked at how quickly that has happened? Yeah, but then you look back over time and you go, yeah, okay, in hindsight, you see how things are being built up over time. And I don't, there were a few eagle-eyed people that saw it accurately, and a lot of other people that didn't see it accurately. And then most of the rest of us just wanted to live our lives hoping that things would pretty much stay the same and we could just get along. That's not what's going to take place. But anyway, so in the future, I see once they stop giving nonprofit status to organizations like Alpha and Omega Ministries, then they're going to start going back and rescinding the status of organizations that got the status in the past. But we didn't know anything back then. We didn't know about whiteness. We didn't know about equity. We didn't know about intersectionality. We thought boys were boys and girls were girls. Good grief, we had G.I. Joe back then. I mean, seriously, it was the dark ages. And so we've got to go back and fix these things. We were a horrible nation. And we let people think that marriage between a man and a woman was the only way you could be married. So we are so embarrassed about how we were back then that now we need to fix these things. Can you hear that? 2 years ago, I wouldn't have said what I just said because, oh, that's just nuts. Come on. That's now you hear it almost every night on TV. That's how these people think. That's how they behave. That's the result of their worldview. And it is, folks, it is a religious worldview. If you can't, have you been watching the promotional ads for the vaccines? I mean, they're like, it's like they took the playbook from Billy Graham crusades. You know, I mean, it's absolutely religious. It is belonging, and it is freedom, and it's redemption. It's a sacrament of belonging to the greater group. And oh my goodness, it's disgusting. And you're paying for it. Well, you know, I used to say that. Right now, nobody's paying for it because it's all funny money. The trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, it's never get paid off. No one's ever get paid for it. But it's publicly funded, whatever that means these days. These incredible advertisements that are so religious that it shocks me that people don't even recognize them. But they are. They are. That's what we're looking at.